So low equity is less than 15% equity. So that's what I call low equity. So in an easy math, if the house is worth 100 grand, they owe 85,000 or more on that house. That's low equity. By the time you put it under contract and you try to find a buyer and assign the contract, there's no room left to make money. Now, with that being said, is there times when you can take a really low equity deal and find the perfect buyer and wholesale it? Yes. I just signed a contract on one today that I thought would be impossible to sell. We had no equity in the deal, very, very high rehab, terrible deal, but somebody bought it. Why did somebody pay full price for it? Because he lived in that house when he was a little kid. Okay. You're always going to find those outlier buyers sometimes. Okay. He lived in the house when he was a little kid. He has sentimental value of the house. So he'll pay more. Okay. But low equity is less than 15% equity. Medium equity is between 20 and 30% equity. So house is worth 100 grand. They owe 70,000. Okay. A little bit tight, but you can make money in those deals. And then what I consider high equity is 35% equity or more. Okay. So high equity is house is worth 100 grand and they owe 65,000 or less. They owe 65,000 or less on the house. Free and clear houses are 100% equity. Okay. So low equity, less than 15%, medium equity between 20 and 30%, and then high equity, 35% more. Somebody's going to say, Matt, but what about there's a gap between 20 and 15%, the first two types? Well, that's a gray area, right? I'm trying to make black and white lines here to make it nice and easy. All right. The bottom line is the better you are at negotiating, the better buyers list you have. You can basically get to the point where you can wholesale anything. You could wholesale negative equity if you're good enough and you have a good enough buyers list, but that's not normal. And that's so low equity, less than 15%. Those are dead deals. Those are lots of work, hard to wholesale. Spend all your time trying to work on wholesaling them and not get anywhere. When we get low equity deals, we mark those dead. Okay. Low equity deals, we mark those dead. Now, 20 to 30% of your leads will be low equity deals. 20 to 30% of your leads will be low equity. So you get 10 leads in, 3 of them will have no equity. And the only reason it's not higher than that is because if you're doing this right, you're pulling the list that we suggest, you're going to weed out a lot of those people. For example, we pull high equity lists. Okay. So how does a low equity deal work its way into a high equity list? Well, it's just how it works. Nothing is perfect, right? These list companies do a pretty good job, but nothing is perfect, right? So if you're pulling a high equity list, if you're pulling a vacant list and not owner occupied, there's a good chance that those properties have a lot of equity in them. But even with all that, even you're doing it right, you're still going to see 20 to 30% of the leads will not have equity. They'll have very low equity. So I'm going to make life really easy. When you get those leads, move on in life. Yeah, but Matt, I talked to the seller and they were really motivated. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Get those deals out of your life. Yeah, but Matt, if I keep following up for 15 years, eventually they'll have equity. Probably not. Probably not. They'll borrow against it. Okay. So low equity, we get them out of our life. So we get rid of those. I just made your life easier. I just took 20 to 30% of the time in your schedule and freed it up by saying, get rid of those deals because your bookshelf is full. Okay. Your bookshelf's full. There's no room to put another book in. I got a bookshelf right here to my right and it's full. I got them spilling over and on the sides and laying everywhere. People come over to my house and they're like, hey, Matt, and they look at my bookshelf and they're like, hey, can I have this book and this book and this book? And I'm like, yeah, take them because I've read them probably multiple times and I can put more books up there. So I say that because the minute you just say, I'm going to make this deal work, I'm going to make this low equity deal work, you're saying, I'm not going to give the time to another potential deal that might have high equity. You only have so much time. So That's why we get rid of low equity. There's an opportunity cost to doing that deal.